Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry to interrupt this amazing introduction by the Near Fall Network's very own King of Nerds, but before we go any further, I just want to make a small correction. Last week, I, with every conviction and positivity that I had, blamed Vince Russo for the Katie Vick storyline and also the Big Boss Man, Big Show funeral stunt. Now, while that one could have still had Vince's work in it, because there's a weird time period where he was leaving, Katie Vick was way after Vince Russo's time in WWE. And even though I think Vince Russo is a mark for himself and takes way too much credit for the good stuff and not enough credit for the bad stuff that took place in the Attitude Era, Katie Vick was not on him. I just needed to point that out, that I made a mistake. I do a lot of this stuff off the top of my head as it comes to me, and wrestling timelines get very, very fuzzy. But that being said, some examples of Russo failures in the WWE. Terry Runnels having a fake miscarriage. Road Warrior Hawk falling off a Titantron. All the incest overtones with Steph and Vince and Ken Shamrock and Ryan Shamrock, and that awesome Brawl for All tournament that got people injured, like literally ruining the career of Dr. Death, Steve Williams. Val Venus being castrated or not being castrated on live television. These are just a few things that, he came up with in the Attitude Era. Not to mention we can accuse Vince Russo of, or I guess accuse isn't the proper word, but we can thank Vince Russo for anything on a pole matches, because he likes poles. What can I say? But I just wanted to make that small correction, and we'll take you right back to this awesome, awesome intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Near Fall Network proudly brings to you the modern-day Micah Raja, the guru of grappling gab, the one, the only, Shooter!
Near Fall Nation, say hello to the bald guy, and welcome once again to another episode of Drive-By with Shooter. As always, thanks for stopping in and checking out what I do for the Near Fall Network. I'm just going to roll into some topics because this week has been news heavy like you wouldn't believe, and I have so many things that I'm excited to talk about, so many topics that I want to touch with you guys, and I'm going to do my best to be concise and kind of keep this thing rolling the way that it should without spending 2 hours just talking about wrestling, although I could easily do that. First things first, I want to kind of touch on Monday Night Raw and two characters in particular that had a match with each other. Roman Reigns and Jason Jordan. So we'll tackle Roman first. Roman was on Corey Graves' new show, Straight to the Source, following Raw, and made a statement that garnered a lot of attention. Roman basically said he's the best wrestler in the world right now. And here's the thing. I like that Roman said that. Do I agree with him? No, I don't think he's the best wrestler in the world right now. But I think that he should think and believe that he is the best wrestler in the world right now. Because that should be your goal. To be the best, to be the champ, and to be the guy that's putting the most butts in the seats, to be the guy that everybody's talking about. Now, you can sit here, debate, argue this topic all day. And That's not what I'm going to do. What I will tell you is Roman Reigns is up there. And you can disagree with me. You can be a Roman hater. You can be an internet wrestling smark fan that wants to talk about how he sucks because Vince wants him to be the guy, and that's why he sucks. Because let's be honest, the reason that people don't like Roman Reigns is because you think that that's what Vince wants you to like, so you push against it. And I kind of get it, but it's really unfair to Roman Reigns. He is great in the ring. Is he a John Cena level promo? No, he's not. But the program he did with John Cena really brought his game up. I don't think he should talk for an extended period of time. But when Roman gets to be the smart ass, hey, I'm the big dog, I'm better than you, and I'm better than you, and I'm better than you, he kind of shines at that. If he lets that cocky attitude, show through, he does well. But the thing that kind of cracks me up when people want to debate Roman, and one of the things when they try to throw shade at him, is the same thing they said about John Cena, which was like, oh, he's not even good in the ring, 5 moves of doom. And Cena's proven that wrong time and time again, and Roman proves that wrong every time he steps in the ring, because Roman rarely has a bad match. They're not always knocked out of the park, but a lot of them that he has on TV are good to very good to borderline great. And it's not just my opinion. I mean, it is my opinion, but it's also a fact, and you might not want to believe it, but it is the truth. And Monday night was a good example of that, and I want to get to that eventually, but the thing that I find funny, and this might sound sacrilege, and as I've mentioned before, one of my all-time favorite, I think a lot of people's all-time favorite, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now here's the funny thing about Steve Austin. Steve Austin was a brawler. Steve Austin was an ass kicker. He wasn't a technician. He wasn't someone who would wear you down in different chain wrestling moves and rest holds and submissions. He was an ass kicker. He was a brawler. He was a fighter. That's what his whole gimmick was. He didn't do 450 splashes off the top rope. He didn't do super kicks. He just kicked ass. His moveset was great, but it was great for a brawler. Like I said, he wasn't a technician. He wasn't a high flyer. He was a badass. That's what Roman Reigns kind of, a power badass is more Roman Reigns style. And it comes with I think he has some pretty impressive moves. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Superman punch as a finish. I think we could figure something else out, but that's a discussion for another day. But everyone praises Stone Cold and says how great he is, and rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. But he had a brawler moveset with brawler style kicks, punches, DDTs from time to time, power slams, back body drops, and then a lot of fists, Luthez press, Stone Cold Stunner, which is one of the most perfect finishing moves you could have because you can hit it on anybody. But a brawler style moveset, which isn't flashy, it isn't fancy, it isn't filled with technique, but it worked. And no one complained about Stone Cold's moveset. But we use that as an excuse for Roman Reigns. And then I want to transition here. When we talk about Roman Reigns and you watch the match like we saw with Jason Jordan on Monday night, and what an absolute spectacular match that was. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a Tokyo Dome 6-star match, but that was entertaining. It was fun. Roman sold. Jason Jordan looked like a star. Roman looked like a champion. And it did exactly what it was supposed to do, which was entertain us, tell a story, and make both guys look better. And that is a hallmark of one of the best wrestlers in the world. That is why Roman can say that, and he can get heat for saying that, but he's not far off, is what I'll say. Do I think Roman Reigns is the best in the world? No, he's not. Do I think he could be in the conversation? Well, he just put himself there, and yeah, I do. I do think he could be in the conversation. I don't think he's close to the top of that list, but I think he's on the list. And we can argue about it every day, all day. And the bottom line is, Roman's the man and the future of that company. So that kind of leaves you with the decision. It is what it is. You like it. You don't have to like it. You can love it. But he's the future of the WWE, at least as of this recording. Now, the other man that was involved in that highly entertaining match is Jason Jordan. And I'll try to keep the Jason Jordan thing short, but I'm hearing a lot of flack this week on podcasts, on Twitter. It's about how bad the Jason Jordan Kurt Angle is. The illegitimate son, separated at birth, whatever you want to call it. And don't get me wrong, it hasn't quite delivered, but Jason Jordan's going out there and getting booed. Getting so much, I want to say heel heat, even though that's not what it is. Getting so much heat that Roman, the guy that people love to boo, is getting cheered. So is this working out the way it was intentionally planned? Maybe not. But what I'm seeing in Jason Jordan is a whiny, sniveling heel. And maybe that's not what was in... I don't think that was no way what they were intending. But now, and I don't know if he's being told to do this, but this, I can do it, I deserve one more shot, I had him, I was this close, and he keeps going to Kurt, and he's been going to Kurt, and asking for this, asking for that, but now it's degrading to the point where he's being annoying about it, to where other superstars, just like Samoa Joe did, need to step up and say, you need to know your place, and stop relying on Daddy to help you out. And what I see in Jason Jordan, look, all of us here at the Nearfall Network are nerds, okay? Mike is the king of nerds. Shooter, I'm a nerd. High Fiver, he's a nerd. We're all nerds, okay? So I'm going to throw a Star Wars reference in. A lot of people kind of pan the episode 1, 2, and 3, which is the second trilogy, but in chronological order, it's the first 3 movies in the Star Wars saga. And a lot of people went against, didn't like, I should say, Hayden Christensen's portrayal of Anakin Skywalker, said that he was whiny and annoying. I think this portrayal that Jason Jordan's going for kind of puts me in the mind of Hayden Christensen's portrayal of Anakin. The whininess, it's not fair, this, that, and the other. And to bring it back into the Star Wars talk, I liked his portrayal. What people seem to forget is if you watch the original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6, Luke Skywalker is whiny. Luke Skywalker is annoying. I hate to break it to you guys, but Anakin mirrored Luke Skywalker. And as they, spoiler alert, are father and son, it makes sense. If you look at the Phantom Menace, which was one of the biggest pans, one of them, I can't think of the actor's name, but who played the young Anakin. He was whiny. Now, he was a kid, so it made sense, but they brought that through, and I have to think that that was on purpose. When we circle back to the wrestling side of this, and how I say the whininess that Jason Jordan is displaying reminds me of both of those Star Wars characters, I'm now reinvested in this storyline, if it goes the way that I want it to and what I want to happen, I don't have to fantasy book this all the way out, but if Jason Jordan is whiny, crying, and complaining about things not working out and going to his dad to get the advantage, and this eventually backfires and turns into something that pits him against Kurt, a slow heel turn for Jason Jordan that technically becomes organic and then, or started organic and then becomes a character-driven thing, this could be a very, very good story. And this could be a very fun thing to watch if it is done and done properly and done over time and not rushed. Now, I don't know where this ends. I don't know where it goes or who rises and who falls from this, but looking at it through a different light, I see a lot of potential. And in the ring, Jason Jordan is damn good. So with the right story and playing this out, this has potential, new potential, in my opinion, written all over it. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to get into some other topics through the week. Right before this recording, Kurt Angle made an announcement of what's going to happen next week on Raw. And I'm going to touch on that and why it's such a big deal. When we come back, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Nearfall Nation. Kurt Angle announced late Thursday afternoon, that 3 matches were made for Raw. Samoa Joe versus Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins versus Sheamus, and Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. I want you to wrap your head around those 3 matches. These are one-on-one matches. The Shield in singles action against 2 of them against the Bar and 1 of them against Samoa Joe. Now, obviously, Joe is taking on Dean Ambrose because him and Reigns are probably going to be in some kind of IC program. And the Bar and Dean and Seth are going to continue fighting over these tag titles. So we made a flop so that we're getting different matches out of this. But the point that I'm trying to make with this is we as wrestling fans need to realize how amazing this 2017, really starting in 2016, but 2016, 2017, and the future 2018, 19, this roster is freaking ridiculous. The fact that a Monday Night Raw has 3 matches that all could possibly main event at least a pay-per-view, and some of them possibly a WrestleMania. Like, this is, like, guys, we're getting Cesaro against Roman Reigns. Everybody who's a Cesaro fan wants him to be the guy, and I think him and Sheamus have taken this whole tag team thing to a whole new level, and I love what they're doing, and I hope they keep doing it. But let's see. You know, we're calling Roman Reigns the big dog, the future of the company. Let's see what it looks like with a Cesaro-Roman Reigns one-on-one match. You know, I don't think I've ever seen Joe versus Dean, so I'm all for that. And Rollins versus Sheamus, you know, they've had great tag matches, so let's see what we can do there. It's a good dynamic. Sheamus is a big guy. Rollins is a, you know, technician, slight high flyer. Like, let's see where this goes. When we're getting matches like this on Monday Night Raw, and, you know, we got this dead period. Rumble is the next co-branded pay-per-view. There is no Raw pay-per-view, between now and the Royal Rumble. We have Clash of Champions next week, and that's the last SmackDown pay-per-view. So we have this weird dead time because we're not getting as many pay-per-views stuffed into 1 month, which I think is a good thing. But people were worried, well, what's this going to look like? Like, the storylines are going to drop. Look, if they do stuff like this and we're getting matches like this, then they're obviously trying to make this dead time a good thing. Trying to make it something that keeps our attention until we get to the Rumble. And the Rumble was the road to WrestleMania, so these stories are starting to build, and none of these might have anything to do with Mania, but if we're getting to that road, let's get some of these things on TV and show the audience that we're trying. And when WWE tries, they do some amazing stuff. And I just think it's, as a wrestling fan, we need to appreciate the roster that we're given. We're getting these 3 matches, not on a pay-per-view, on a Monday Night Raw, on regular television. Like, this is amazing. And if you can't see that, you need to reevaluate your fandom. If you can't realize that we're living in a time where, and I've said this before, we have legit 15 to 20 guys who could be top of the card to upper mid card champions, Universal, WWE champion, ICUS, 15 and 20 guys that could all take those top spots, which gives us amazing matches when they want us and when they want our undivided attention. And I think as wrestling fans, we need to appreciate that. Now, this also does glaringly show how loaded Raw is and how SmackDown really needs some star power. I've heard it said all over, which is funny I say over. I've heard it stated all over the internet, all over podcasts. It would be so awesome to see Finn Balor go to SmackDown and actually have something to do. Maybe chase AJ Styles for that WWE Championship. Imagine a title fight for that championship between Nakamura, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, maybe a Bobby Roode, or whoever else maybe creeps in there. It'd be a lot of fun. I think we really need to shake some things up and get some guys on SmackDown that have more things to do. You know what I mean? Kevin Owens, too. Like, he's not in the main event picture now, but he should be. Sami Zayn as well. Heel Sami Zayn is some of the greatest stuff I've seen in a long time. Heel Sami is way, way, way better than face Sami. It's just truth. It's just the way it is. I just think as fans, we need to appreciate what we're given, especially when we're this freaking loaded. And I want to roll into another topic. Like I said, I got a lot of topics, guys. There's all kind of speculation on the SmackDown side about Daniel Bryan and this whole Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan thing. Is this going to lead to a Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan match? And I don't know. I don't know if Daniel's ever going to get in that WWE ring as a wrestler. I don't even know how I feel about it. We've learned so much about head injuries, and it's still such a shaky thing. Like, it's hard for me on the network to watch old Chris Benoit matches. It just is. I know what he did. I know what it was from. Talking with King of Nerds and the High Fiver, we've watched pay-per-views and talked about them together, and it's hard to watch Benoit take headshots. It's hard to watch him do his diving headbutt when you know what happened. So knowing all that, having now an adult mind thinking about it, I don't know if I want Daniel Bryan to come back to the ring. I mean, I guess if a doctor says it's okay, but that still concerns me. That being said, these rumors and possibilities that I don't even know if they're going to happen are floating around, and I saw a tweet, I think it was Pro Wrestling Magazine on Twitter. It could have been WrestleVotes, at WrestleVotes. I can't remember, and I apologize. I like to keep these things straight. And it's just one of those things that's really kind of slipped away from me. But I just checked it. It's WrestleVotes. And this was a tweet. If, and that's a big if, WWE clears Daniel Bryan and this whole program is setting up to him versus Shane at WrestleMania, how much complaining will they be that Shane is Bryan's opponent? And you should have seen the complaints right off the bat. And this is where I say, be happy when you're getting something that you want. If you want Daniel Bryan in the ring and the answer is Shane McMahon as his opponent, you're getting Daniel Bryan back into the ring. That can only lead somewhere where maybe he has another opponent, and Shane might be the perfect opponent to test this out. Shane's not a big, powerful guy. He's not going to throw Daniel Bryan around. It's not Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, who would be a horrible idea because Brock Lesnar is not known as a safe worker. He's stiff. Like Daniel Bryan, if he comes back, and if there's any kind of, hey, we got to be careful here, he needs someone who is either going to be very, very safe or has a low potential of hurting him with a big move gone wrong. Now, it's kind of crazy because Shane is known for his big bumps, but they can protect things like that. They can set things up where Daniel's not in that kind of trouble or danger from a crazy Shane McMahon stunt. All I know is if it happens, I'm going to enjoy seeing Daniel Bryan back in the ring no matter who his opponent is. The other thing that I also know is everybody bitched and complained about AJ Styles having to fight Shane McMahon. And it was a great, great WrestleMania match. Started off WrestleMania and it started it off with a bang. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that match is not memorable, you're a liar. And you don't like the match just because of who AJ fought. If you couldn't enjoy that, if you couldn't enjoy the different things they did that you never saw Shane do, the approach they took to that match, it was smart and it was done right and it was a damn good WrestleMania match. I'm going to take one more break and come back and hit on a topic that I just kind of heard about. Rumors of a rowdy debut. And we'll kind of talk about where that goes and what that means. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I want to round out today's show talking about Ronda Rousey. It's been pretty much confirmed now, and we've hinted at it, we've talked about it, but it's been pretty much confirmed that Ronda Rousey is now officially transitioning to the WWE, doing what she needs to, I guess, put in place to finalize her MMA career and move into pro wrestling with the WWE. And what really is spurring this conversation with me, there's a couple things. The first thing is a more fun, lighthearted, kind of how do we look at this, good for the business. A Twitter account called WrestleVotes sent out a very simple question just for fans to kind of respond to. It was Asuka versus Rousey at Mania. Yes or no? And I saw a lot of people like, no. This was my response. I basically was thinking, if Asuka would win, absolutely, that would add a ton of legitimacy to Asuka as a badass, because Ronda Rousey is a legit badass. And if Asuka has lost already, then that's even more reason for her to debut or not necessarily debut, but to take on and be able to lose. If the streak's over, if someone already took that away from Asuka, then that's okay. I would like to see Rousey maybe debut at the Rumble, if that's what they're going for, if they're trying to push this to a Mania thing. And this is just all speculation anyway. But I if she were to debut at Mania and beat Asuka, and Asuka hadn't lost yet, then I would have a problem with it. But if she debuted earlier, either way, this is kind of my point. Ronda Rousey is a legit badass. So my only problem with her, if she beat Asuka at Mania and it was her debut and Asuka hadn't lost yet, I'd be like, she just, she shouldn't do that on her debut. If they want Rousey to be the one to end that streak, I'm okay with that. I just don't think it should be rushed. And let's be honest, they rush things sometimes. And the WWE, unfortunately, they sometimes rush things. And unfortunately, they go the other way and draw things too far out. But that's neither here nor there. But my point is, for wrestling, Ronda Rousey joining the WWE is enormous. She's a legit badass. She can be the female Brock Lesnar. She can be that go-to star who has worldwide recognition, drawing power, can put butts in the seats because people want to come see her and see what she does. And at the same time, she can be a unbeatable champion, or she can be an attraction who does not need a championship, does not need a title around her waist to have fans want to come see her. Now I'm going to finish this out, and I'm going to kind of, I guess, give a little warning. I know I try to keep my show semi-clean. No angel, and I sometimes use colorful language, but I try to keep it semi-family friendly. This part's not going to be that, and I apologize in advance, but boy, did my gears get grinded. Because former adult porn star Mia Khalifa, or Maya Khalifa, I don't even know how you pronounce her first name, and I don't really care. See, she, I guess, is no longer in porn, and is now trying to be a sports broadcaster. She does a YouTube show with Gilbert Arenas, and it's, I think they started in just a few months ago, in October, I believe. And I guess the stick is to talk about other people's decisions. And this is where my problem comes in. It's brought up, Ronda Rousey is joining WWE, and Maya's reaction was, it's going to kill her career, and I have no respect for WWE. What? Who? When did sucking dick on camera make you a voice, give you an opinion on pro sports, and especially pro wrestling? You're a porn star. You're literally saying that Ronda Rousey should have some, she said she should have some respect for herself. Like, you're doing something that's fake. Look, I have a humongous problem with this. I can totally understand people questioning why some people do things, but it was even kind of joked about, like, oh yeah, she lost, and now she's going to run and tuck her tail and go do fake fighting. Like, get the hell out of here, you assholes. Like, who the hell are you people to talk about Ronda Rousey, one of the greatest female MMA fighters to ever grace an octagon? A legit badass who would kick all your asses on this panel talking shit on her. Okay? You got a basketball player who took a gun to the locker room, and you got a washed up porn star. Like, are you kidding me? And you're gonna talk shit on Ronda Rousey, a former UFC champion, a Olympic medalist who could kick all your asses. because she wants to do WWE, and Maya says that's where her career goes to die. Are you insane? That's where her career goes to die? Have you heard of a guy, I don't know, called Hulk Hogan? He was in pro wrestling for his entire career. That's what he did. Did pretty good for himself. Not sure if you heard of this guy. His real name's Dwayne Johnson. He used to go by The Rock. It's a pretty big fucking deal in Hollywood. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, you idiots. Oh, and let me bring this one to you. I'm not sure if you heard of a man named Brock Lesnar, but he was a badass in UFC too. Oh, and by the way, he makes millions of dollars working maybe 12 to 15 times a year for the WWE. Yeah, pretty poor decision on his part, isn't it? Like, if you're gonna go at something, at least have some knowledge. Casting couches don't make you knowledgeable on everything. Sorry, honey, it doesn't. You can't sit there and shoot your mouth off about something that you know nothing about. Ronda Rousey joining WWE is a spectacular career move for her. It's a good move for the WWE, and in a roundabout way, it also helps MMA. And Ronda Rousey was the face of women's MMA, and Ronda Rousey is the reason that women's MMA is even as big as it is at this point in our society today. You're not going to argue that point with me, so shut your damn mouth. So you're going to come on your little YouTube show and talk shit about someone who has legit busted their ass since they were a kid to be the best in the world at what she does, creating a literal movement because she's transitioning into a different part of her life and a different part of her career to benefit herself. How's that porn working out for you, Maya, whatever the hell your name is? How's it working out? Like, we give credentials to, like, it blows my mind. Like, let me take this back a minute. I'll give credit to Maya for trying to do something. She's trying to transition from porn to apparently YouTube sportscasting, which is fine. I mean, here I am doing a podcast. But this is the same girl who, was known for, she attempted to recruit Braxton Miller from Ohio State to Florida, like, not using the nicest negotiation terms. She has been known to kind of say, hey, come do this, come do that, come play for Florida State. I'm here. Maybe I'll give you a special surprise. Like, come on. And you're talking about having respect for your career when that's what you do? Get out of here. Just get out of here. Ronda Rousey going to the WWE is going to be huge for everybody involved. It clearly isn't a bad career move. And I know you're all wrestling fans because you're listening to my show, and I don't think you would listen to it if you weren't. That being said, one thing that I love about wrestling and wrestling fans, a lot of them can annoy the shit out of me. A lot of them can have their strong head opinions that they don't want to budge on, and that's fine. I know a lot of people that hate WWE and it's all about Ring of Honor, or it's all about Ring of Honor New Japan, or they don't watch any of that and it's solely WWE. Or they hate all that and they love TNA for some unforsaken reason. And that's all fine. But you know what is the best about wrestling fans? When somebody attacks their sport, the form of entertainment that we love, we come together to defend it. I've never taken a bump in my life, but I'm also not an idiot, and I know it frickin' hurts. So, for her to just diss on someone because they're doing something fake, well, you know, your career, I'm sure you faked it a lot too, honey. And to bring it around, the tweet that just made my absolute afternoon when this story broke and it was starting to catch some fire on Twitter was none other than Hurricane Helms. And he summed it up so eloquently, and I'll leave you guys with this. Hurricane Helms said, and I quote, "I'm not going to get upset that a porn star doesn't respect pro wrestling. She's entitled to her opinion. Our bodies take a pounding, and well, so does hers." Well said, Hurricane Helms. Well said. What's up with that? Guys, I say it every week. It's been real. It's been fun. We'll catch you next time.